Hey YouTubers, Corinne and Nicole here. First I want to apologize for this one right here. She doesn't have a very friendly face. um, First I would like to start out by saying that with it being January 6th, 2017, it has been forever since I uploaded a video, and I'm really sorry about that. I've had a lot going on the last few years, including a move from where I was living, which is in New York, to my home state in Pennsylvania. Many job changes. That is a whole different story for a different video. See, I had this really nice video already prepared for you guys, and then when I went to upload it, my computer wouldn't cooperate. So, I'm resorting to using my phone. I would like to say thank you to everyone who has viewed my videos, and for all of the comments and messages that I have received. It really has been just an overwhelming response. I really didn't expect so many views, so many comments, so many shared stories, and I greatly appreciate all of it. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I don't know how to say thank you for, sharing my video with the people you've shared it with, and just it just feels good knowing I've been able to help so many people, to understand this a little bit better, and, people who wanted to hear my story and hear what I've been through. So just thank you. Please don't be mad at me when I tell you how many surgeries I've had since the last video that I did. I've had 3 more surgeries, just for this. Last year I was also going through some problems with a kidney stone that wouldn't go away. I had 3 surgeries for that last year as well. 6 surgeries in 1 year. Alright, fun times. Not. The first surgery that I had, if you've already watched my video, you probably know, was a pilonidal cystectomy. Cystectomy, basically the end of the word cystectomy, ectomy means like the removal. So it's just removal of a cyst, and pilonidal is referring to the type of cyst that it is, which is basically like they say that it's usually just hair, but there can also be like skin cells in there too, so it can cause a pretty gross mess, and it can be really painful, especially if you've had an abscess from it, or a boil, however it may have been referred to you. But it can all be really scary, and it can all be really overwhelming, and having to go through this is not a fun time. And so if you're watching this video because you know somebody who's going through this, the best thing that I could recommend is to just be there for them, because it's very difficult. It's not just physically draining, it also has a pretty hard emotional toll that it takes on you, because you're going through something that's really scary, and if you've never been through it before, then new things are not always, but most people find new experiences to be scary and to be stressful, and just to have someone there for you while you're going through this kind of thing is really amazing. And even just a few minutes out of your day to stop by and sit and talk with them, see how they're doing, see how they're feeling. And it may be miserable, that you may not get a good answer. They may tell you, oh, I'm in so much pain, and I can't make food on my own. I'll try to make them soup. I mean, geez, just a little bit of help. I say that because not only did I have a visiting nurse a couple of times after surgeries, but I had friends who were there for me that helped me, not just with not just coming over and like making me soup or something, but I had friends that would run to the store for me if I needed something. They helped me straighten up around my apartment, and if I needed any, errands run, whenever somebody was available to help me, it was amazing to have people that were there for me. And having to go through it, alone is just not easy at all. So, if you haven't watched my other videos, I did discuss in those videos what exactly a pilonidal cyst is, what pilonidal sinus disease is, and, the things that can occur when you have it, like, getting an abscess or getting a boil. So there are different procedures and different ways that they treat you depending on, the severity of it and whatnot. Sometimes there's imaging involved where you say, most recently I can tell you, and most often I should say, the test was a CT scan. I think it's also most commonly referred to as a CAT scan. I'm pretty sure they're the same exact thing, but usually they just say CT scan. But it's basically a test where they usually will hook up an IV to you, and they will put iodine in you. As long as you're not allergic to it, they're going to ask you these questions. If you are, obviously that's not going to happen. But somehow the iodine helps them. It helps them see if there are, tracts, if there are sinuses. So when I say tracts or sinuses, think about, your nose, for example, your nasal cavity. So it's basically like, this hole that goes up into your head. So a sinus or a tract, that's usually where the infection will sort of take place, or what's the best way to describe it? Maybe I should just sum it up by saying that when they do surgery, they're typically trying to not only remove the bad tissue, like the actual cyst itself, but there are tracts or sinuses that allow the accumulation of fluid. So when the fluid is building up, which is usually an infection, it's basically causing these like tracts or sinuses to expand, and that's what's causing the pain and the pressure. Oftentimes when you have an infection, sometimes it can just look like a little pimple, a little boil, or an abscess. If you know what an abscess or a boil is, then you would know what it looks like. But like I said, I mean, it could be as small as just looking like your average, pimple, like one that you might have on your face. But sometimes it can be bad to the point where it's like, I'm going to use a roll of tape to like show you. I mean, it could be like huge, like extremely noticeable, red, and you can tell that there's like gross fluid inside of it. Sometimes people will see pus. Sometimes you can't see anything on the outside, but you have some kind of drainage. And it's usually either pus or a clear fluid. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what the clear fluid is called, but, pus, I hope you know what pus is. It's gross. I don't want to explain it. It's like, if you want to know or need to know what pus is, just message me, because I don't want to talk about it. But, if you've gotten to the point where you've been through that, where you've had an abscess lanced or drained, basically what that means is, I'll use the example like on my finger here. If this was the area where the abscess is, basically what they do is they would make a small incision, and they would get I'm just going to say extract the fluid that way. And then what they'll usually do is they'll put some sort of packing in it, which I went over in one of my other videos. There's actually a video where I show you what the stuff is. It's called algicite, and that's typically what they use for packing. Sometimes they just use gauze if you go to the emergency room. Basically that helps to continue draining the fluid, and at that point they're usually going to refer you to a surgeon. Now, the type of surgeon that you're going to see is a colorectal surgeon, and it's a lot scarier than it sounds, but I've been through like 4 of them now. So trust me, I can tell you they're not that bad. And if you get one that's a jerk, just look for another one. I don't want to go into too much detail talking about all of this stuff right now. I did want to do a separate video talking about just this stuff. But basically, to let you guys know where I'm at is I've seen 4 different surgeons now, 4 different surgeries, 3 regular pilonidal cystectomies, and then the most recent one was called a pilonidal cystectomy with a Limburg flap. My research has shown me that the cystectomy with the Limburg flap seems to be the most effective in preventing reoccurrence of this of the cyst. So, if you are going to be seeing a surgeon about this, I would recommend talking to them about it to see if you could be considered for it. It's a little more involved than a regular cystectomy, but it's becoming a more and more common procedure used to treat pilonidal sinus disease. So definitely something worth talking to your doctor about, which, like I mentioned earlier, I do want to do a separate video on this stuff, and I'm going to do a separate video on the cystectomy with Limburg flap altogether. But since the 4th surgery, since my last surgery, which I believe was in October, I've had a lot of lower back pain, which I thought was related to the cyst. So that's why I started seeing the other doctor, the new one I'm seeing. And he did the imaging, and he said that there's no tract or sinus, there's no accumulation of fluid, and he actually recommended me to a pain clinic for a nerve block. So I'm a little scared for that, but after seeing that doctor, I do think he's right. I don't think, obviously if the imaging is showing that there's nothing there to remove, then there's nothing there to remove. But this is a lot of rambling, and I'm sorry. Next time I do a video, I promise you I will sit down and have, talking points written out so that way I don't ramble and go around in weird, crazy circles and down rabbit holes and stuff. But yeah, so where I'm at with that is the cystectomy with the Limburg flap really seemed to help, because it's not coming back. Obviously, I hope not. It was actually years before I had a recurrence to begin with, because I didn't have the second surgery until January 2016, when I think it was 2016, when the first, maybe it was 2015, I really don't remember. The first procedure that I had, though, was definitely in January 2011. The first time I was told I had a pilonidal cyst was May of 2010. So, I mean, a lot of time has passed, and, 4 surgeries later, here I am. But, I have you guys, for my support. I have my friends, I have my family. So being able to share personal experiences, with you guys on here has just been, tremendously helpful. And, the last couple of surgeries that I went through, whereas I will admit that I should have been uploading videos and, keeping you guys posted on what was going on, it was really hard. It was really difficult. It was a hard year for me, 6 surgeries in total last year. Thanks to, not just the pilonidal sinus disease, but a terrible, rotten, horrible, nasty kidney stone that just did not want to come out. If anybody wants to hear a story on my kidney stone experience, I doubt it, but if you do, let me know. I was actually considering talking about that too, because that's a whole crazy different world that I just was not aware of. And did you know that there are like specialists? Like a urologist is already a specialist, and they can, most urologists, I'm pretty sure, are also surgeons, but there are like other surgeons that are like specialists. Like the first urologist did 2 surgeries on me and then was like, I need to refer you to a different specialist. And I'm like, he's like, he specializes in narrow ureters. And who specializes in narrow ureters? Like, that's insane. So yeah, I've had lots of experience with different surgeries, and I laugh when I'm nervous, so I apologize. I don't know why I'm nervous. Probably because it's the first video I've done in quite a while, and I'm talking about some very personal things. But you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, all of the comments from you guys and the messages, they have been so amazing. And I mean, one of my videos has over 30,000 views, and that's absolutely incredible. I never expected that. And, you know, to have so many people that I've been able to help, like I said before, it's incredible. It makes me feel so good knowing that, you know, me sharing my personal experience and putting myself out there has been helpful to people, especially so many people. So, you know, thank you so much for your support, and you know, I'm glad we can be there for one another. It looks like I'm hitting like the 15-minute mark here, so I'm gonna wrap this video up, and I promise you I'm going to be doing another video by the end of the weekend. I'm already planning it, so you guys will be hearing from me again extremely soon, so keep an eye out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comment section below or send me a message. I did have a couple of people look me up on Facebook and find me that way, so you know, if your message is urgent, do feel free to look me up on Facebook. I don't know if you'll be able to find me. I'm not exactly sure what my privacy settings are like these days, but in the very near future, I will be uploading a YouTube video letting you know about it. I'm going to be creating a dedicated YouTube Facebook account, if that makes any sense. It's going to be a Facebook profile specifically for, you know, all of my people, my friends, all of you guys that are here on YouTube that are following me. You know, I'll be able to put a link right on my YouTube page for it, so that way you guys can find me. You know, feel free to like send me a friend request and stuff when that happens. But you know, if you can find me on Facebook, if you need to, message me there. If not, comment section below, drop me a message. Do feel free to share this video. And if you feel like watching any of my other videos, and you have any questions or comments, you know, like I said, comment section or drop me a message. This is like kind of bittersweet because it's been forever, and the support I've received from you guys is so amazing. And I really thank you for that, and you're one of the reasons that I keep smiling. So, you know, as I always say, in all of my videos, you know, keep watching. Please subscribe. Click like if you liked it, and keep smiling.